Well, good morning, friends. Jagandar Rana here. So, the topic of the day is commercial general liability insurance. Commercial general liability insurance. The commercial general liability insurance is one of the most important types of insurance and a must have insurance policy for a business. In today's times of increasing litigation, businesses are in a greater risk of getting sued by third parties like their customers for any bodily injury or property damage they might suffer. Companies have been sued for small incidents like a customer slipping and getting injured within the business premises or on account of companies' advertisements containing misleading information. Though these incidents are small, an adverse ruling by the court has resulted in the company having to pay substantial money towards defending such claims in courts and also towards uncompensated damages. So, with increasing litigation, such cases are only likely to increase in future. Hence, every business should purchase a commercial general liability insurance to protect itself from such claims. So, let us understand what is commercial general liability cover. Different levels of coverages are available for commercial general liability plans. A policy may contain premises coverage which protects a company from claims that occur at the company's physical site during normal business hours. It may also cover bodily injury and property damage caused by finished goods or product or service provided at a different place. Excess liability coverage can be added to a CGL policy to cover claims that exceeds the policy's maximum liability. Exclusions to what activities are covered may exist in some commercial general liability plans. A policy might not cover the cost of a product recall. For example, it is critical for a company to understand the difference between a claims made and an occurrence policy when acquiring commercial general liability insurance. The claims made policy covers you regardless of when you file your claim. An occurrence policy is distinct in that it covers claims that occurred while the policy was in effect, even if the policy has since expired. So businesses may also obtain insurance that covers other business hazards in addition to commercial general liability plans. For example, to defend itself from allegations of sexual harassment, wrongful termination, and discrimination, the company can obtain employment practices liability coverages that may also be obtained. It may also obtain insurance to cover financial reporting, statement errors and omissions, as well as covering for losses caused by the activities of its directors and officers. So, a commercial general liability insurance policy is a type of an insurance policy which reimburses the insured person for the legal expenses and compensatory damages that the insured becomes legally liable to pay on account of the bodily injury or property damage suffered by a third party by a company's operation. So, products or injuries that occur within the insured person's business premises, bodily injury under a commercial general liability insurance policy is defined as bodily injury, sickness, or disease sustained by a person, including death. It is important to read the CGL insurance policy wording to ascertain the exact definition of bodily injury. Property damage under a CGL policy, physical injury to tangible property, including all resulting losses of use of that property. All such loss of use shall be deemed to occur at the time of the physical injury that caused it by loss of use of tangible property that is not physically injured. All such loss of use shall be deemed to occur at the time of occurrence that caused it. So, property damage under a CGL policy specifically covers only tangible property and does not include any damage to electronic data. So, why is it important to have a commercial general liability? Because all types of business people need to defend themselves and their companies from litigation and the cost that come with them. So, for any business, commercial general liability insurance policy is a must-have coverage. It guards against all types of liabilities, threats that a business can face. A business owner and or the business itself might be held accountable in a variety of ways, whether the injury or damage occurs on the business's premises or as a result of product or service offered by the business. Bodily injury and property damage are two substantial hazards. There are also personal and advertising injuries, medical bills, property damage incurred by a business in a rented location, and other factors to consider. All of these scenarios are undesirable for business owners. The consequences of these damages and losses can be astronomical, particularly for smaller enterprises that lack the same capital access as larger corporations. According to some estimates, defending and settling a general liability can cost more than dollar or rupees 10 lakh each case. Slips and falls, reputational damage, product liability, customer injury or damage, and product liability can all be very costly lawsuits. So even every firm requires commercial general liability insurance to protect itself from financial disasters, long-term reputational harm, and big legal fights. So exposures covered under a CGL policy has to be understood because this is typical to understand. In the sense, the coverage is different from other policies. So a commercial general liability policy covers the following risk exposures like comprehensive protection. Commercial general liability insurance provides broad coverage against various liabilities faced by businesses. Bodily injury coverage. CGL insurance protects businesses from claims or lawsuits arising from bodily injury suffered by third parties such as customers, visitors, or vendors on the business premises. Then property damage cover. It also covers the property damage caused to third-party properties, including building, vehicles, or other assets, as a result of the business operations or negligence. Products and completed operations coverage. CGL insurance extends coverage for liabilities arising from products sold or services rendered by the businesses, including injuries or damages caused by defective products or completed works. Personal and advertising injury coverage. CGL policies typically include coverage for personal and advertising injuries such as defamation, libel, slander, copyright infringement, or invasion of privacy in the course of business advertising or promotions. Then legal defense costs. CGL insurance covers the legal defense cost, including attorney fees, court expenses, and settlements or judgments incurred in defending against covered liability claims or lawsuits. Medical payment coverage. It may provide coverage for medical expenses incurred by third parties who sustain injuries on the business premises, regardless of fault, helping to mitigate small injury claims and fostering goodwill with the customers. Additional insured. CGL policy can often be extended to include coverage for additional insured parties, such as landlords, contractors, or vendors, providing liability protection for their activities related to the insured businesses. Contractual liability coverage. CGL insurance coverage may cover liabilities assumed by the insured under contractual agreements such as indemnification clauses or hold harmless agreements subject to policy terms and conditions. Then tailored coverage options. CGL policies can be customized to meet the specific needs and risk of different businesses, including coverage limits, deductible endorsements, and additional insureds, ensuring comprehensive protection against liability exposures. So the special features of the CGL policy includes non-employee injury that happen on your property, legal cost when you are sued over the incidents, lawyers' fees, court expenses, immediate medical expenses for the injured person, settlements and judgments if the case goes to trial and you are found liable for wrongdoing, a repair cost for damaged properties, replacements for lost or destroyed properties. So the coverage under CGL policy provides a comprehensive coverage against bodily injury and damage to property, damages resulting from misleading advertisements, and medical expenses. Medical expenses in the sense payment for injuries suffered by a third party, not an employee, as a result of an accident on the insured's property or as a result of the insured business operations will be covered. Medical expenses coverage can be used without having to file a lawsuit, like small medical claims without litigation. All reasonable medical, ambulance, hospital, or professional nursing charges as well as burial expenses will be covered for the injured or deceased person. There are certain add-on covers like riders or add-on coverage or extra advantages that can be purchased for a fee. So the following riders can be added to the base policy to increase the coverage for an additional fee. These are Act of God Perils Extension, Liquor Liability, Sudden and Accidental Pollution Extension, Transportation Liability Extension, Personal and Advertising Injury Extension, Fire Damage Extension, Medical Expenses Liability Extension, Limited Vendors Liability Extension, Lift Elevator and Escalator Liability Extension, Food and Beverages Liability Extension. So what is not covered, that is also important to understand, because the commercial general liability insurance does not cover all events and situations. These are referred to as exclusions. For some of them are expected or intended injury or any liability. The insured is not liable to pay under normal circumstances but is now paying due to the assumption of liability. A failure or delay by anyone on behalf of the company to perform an agreement or contract as per its terms. Liability is already covered by other policies such as liability under workman's compensation, liabilities arising out of conduct of the insured's business, pollution, damage to the work of the insured, damage to the insured property, damage to the insured product, professional liability, a deficiency, inadequacy, defect or dangerous conditions in the product, personal or advertising injury, electronic data, recall of products, work or impaired property and product guarantees, loss of use of the property originating from sudden and accidental physical damage to the software after it has been put to the incidental use, errors and omissions. So apart from the above mentioned details, there are a few additional crucial components of this strategy to consider. These are the important aspects this sort of insurance policy is typically offered to Indian enterprises of all sizes, whether they are based in India or abroad, as well as foreign organizations working in India. It is critical for the insured to keep their business premises clear of potential hazards. All appropriate equipment must be installed on the premises to deal with minor fire, short circuit, and other incidents. Liabilities originating from abrupt or inadvertent pollutions, items and storage by the insured. Terrorism and other events can be avoided with this policy's add-on. Under the policyholder can pick from a variety of flexible payment alternatives for the premium amount. Customers have the option of paying premiums on a monthly basis. And then there are types of policies under CGL insurance cover. These can be classified into two types. One is claim-made policy. So a claim-made CGL policy offers general liability insurance coverage only when a claim is made, regardless of when the claim event occurs. This form of business liability coverage is useful for claims where there is a date gap or a lag between the occurrence of the incident and the date on which the claim was submitted. However, please keep in mind that the CGL policy covers only those claims made while the policy is in effect. The retroactive date is defined as the date of first coverage. So the retroactive date would be indicated on subsequent policy renewals to indicate the continuity of coverage. Second one is occurrence policy. An occurrence CGL policy is a type of CGL insurance that covers any claims for injuries received while the CGL policy is in effect. Under these contexts, the insured has the right to seek compensation for damages incurred during the policy's active period, even if several years have passed and the insurance agreement is no longer in effect. So if there is evidence that the cause or triggering event occurred during the period when the insurance was in force, a claim can be filed long after the contract expires. So an occurrence policy covers events that occurs years later and might be responsible for injury or damage. For example, if a person is exposed to hazardous chemicals, he may become unwell years later. An example of commercial general liability insurance you can see. AB Textile Limited has obtained a large international order of INR 500 crores. So the foreign client insists on sending Mr. Mittal, a senior executive, to the manufacturing unit of AB Textile Limited for a thorough examination of the stocks. Mr. Mittal trips and falls while going around the manufacturing unit, injuring his back. Now the client sues AB Textile Limited, stating that they should have taken better care of the work premises. Fortunately, AB Textiles had purchased a CGL coverage that covered both the compensation and the legal costs resulting from the suit. So the general liability insurance overview is that this cover has been especially formulated to cover your business against from any third party or anybody's claim against physical injury and medical expenses incurred for the same, any loss or damage caused by you to his or her property. So generally, general liability insurance is deal for protecting you against a wide array of claims like bodily injury, property damage, personal injury, etc. These damages need to be caused by your business. If you are a small-time business entrepreneur, this type of insurance is of utmost importance to you. It can protect you from various unforeseen damages in case you are responsible for one minor incident which has caused damage to a third party. You can get embroiled in a complicated lawsuit. So this can lead to a huge financial loss and mental harassment. So having the CGL policy will provide protection against injury or to third party caused by you. For example, if a third party falls and injures himself in your business premises or undergoes an injury caused by your business equipment, the insurance company will cover you from the subsequent claim and the medical expenses in turn. So it offers protection against loss of property caused to a third party due to negligence or mishandling. For example, if you spill water on a client system and cause loss of data or any consequent damage, you will be covered by the insurance company against any claim arising due to the same. So the general liability insurance or the CGL policy offered by certain insurance insurers provides protection against slander. The policy covers you from any subsequent claims within the limit of your policy and provides flexible payment options. You get an option of making monthly payments or devoid of any additional charges. The insurance has been especially designed with plans to suit the varied needs of every customer. This provides coverage of risk in each business type. So the policy comes with claims responsiveness. This ensures that the moment a claim is filed, your insurance provider will defend you. So this is all about the commercial general liability insurance. Thank you. Thank you very much.